They called us a cult leader, but they were lying to you. We were number one on Netflix for a docudrama for an entire month in the world. They did another docudrama that went live on Amazon Prime. They did a third documentary drama on Canadian national television, a 2-hour special on us and Twin Flames Universe. They even had a Disney princess do a multi-part Wondery podcast.
I don't even think
us.
she was a princess. I think she was just a Disney character in a Pixar film.
Throughout all of this, we didn't get to say anything.
I know.
Our perspective was not included at all. We even hired a public relations firm to help us navigate the situation, and it was just more of the same thing. So we wanted to sit down and just talk to you and tell you our side of the story. Mm-hmm. There's no PR firm. There's no media. If you ever wanted to hear what was actually going on inside Twin Flames Universe without the drama, we're going to tell you. We're not going to hold anything back. We don't have questions prepared.
No.
There's no PR statements to follow. It's just us sharing our story because we never got to.
It's tea time. Get
Get
your tea ready, y'all.
Get your tea ready for the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it feels good.
If you don't know us yet, I'm Jeff Devine. This is my wife, Shaleia Devine.
Hey.
We are the co-founders of Twin Flames Universe, and we'd like to tell you our side of the story.
Yeah.
So
where shall we begin? Maybe I think the first pressing question that a lot of people did ask is, like, why now? Like, why are you deciding to talk now? Because it's been a literal onslaught of 5 years, and people haven't really heard much from us. Mm-hmm. So why now?
Why now? We didn't get a chance to talk before. Anything we would say would just get dumped on by drama. They would cut everything.
And will be used against you.
The media will take anything you say, cut it in a selective way, put it in a new context, add the music they want, construct images, and communicate a completely different thing than what you're communicating in order to further their narrative. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter what the truth is. Mm-hmm. So the first thing is you really should not trust what the media says at face value. It is a narrative machine, not a truth-telling machine. And anyone that gets involved in media can tell you the same thing. They're not taking your story and telling it as it is. Mm-hmm. They're taking your story and telling it as they want to tell you.
Well, and this isn't just us saying that to say it. It was what we personally and literally experienced when we decided to participate in the third docudrama series, the Canadian show. And we were like, okay, this is our experience. This is our truth. Here are the receipts. We would like to be able to have the opportunity to share our side because we haven't been able to, like Jeff was just saying. And not only that, when you're a small, quiet, spiritual niche community in the literal backwaters of the internet, and then all of a sudden you get a world spotlight put on you, and your ideas and your thoughts and what you're exploring spiritually as a spiritual being, like, there's gonna be a lot of philosophical misinterpretation. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what happened to us. And we were painted in such a poor, pathetic light, so that when you would see these clips of, say, like Jeff seemingly angry and yelling, or me looking like I just got shit on by my husband, it actually is not true, because there is a whole context behind all that. And when we tried to explain ourselves to the so-called investigative reporter, and for very good reason, she either just threw it out the window, or she she made us look bad anyway and wouldn't really give us the time of day to be like, actually, this is what really happened. This is why it seemed like we was upset. Like, I don't know.
Because the
It's
media
crazy.
does not tell the truth. It's not beholden to the truth.
No, that's what we learned. The golden age of journalism is dead. Long gone. I let that go. Trust me. I let it go. I realized they're about something else. And I've seen this happening so much in the world over the past, 5-6 years. This like gradual awareness about the media, and or at least like mainstream media, and how it reports on news. And at first I was like, I don't know, it just seems like people don't like what they have to say because it's about them. And then lo and behold, it literally happened to us, and I'm like, oh, like you don't care at all. You're about something else. So I think for me, this kind of leads into like the next question, or like the next idea or thought of like, well, what about these people that had genuine complaints and upsets about us?
We're getting right into the tea.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't want to linger too long on
Let's
like
do
the
it.
media, because like I feel like that's so obvious. Like, like you see those attention grabbing headlines, like,
What they're telling you is that what they're really about. Media is owned by for-profit corporations, and their express purpose is to make money. Their job is not to serve the public. They'll say that that's their job, and they
Yeah.
might do some of that, but at the end of the day, the public is not the one that writes the check and pays their rent. It's the boss at the corporation, and that guy is not interested in what the public cares about and the public interest. He's interested in who he's beholden to, which is his stockholders, which is a short-term interest. They just need to make money on the money that they give to the media corporations this quarter. And if they don't, they pull the money out. It's that simple.
The way that they make money is by dun 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 grabbing your attention.
Yes.
It was so crazy, an extreme surreal experience for us to like turn on Netflix, and there's my beloved's face, like smiling at me like a sweet little man. And then, it's this really shitty documentary just slandering us the entire time and completely omitting facts and truth, and didn't care to hear our side. And
It told a wholly false narrative.
oh yeah. And when we were reached out by the documentary people, I mean, it was extremely harsh language. The tone was just unreal. It was very accusatory, like, and we've been through this before. So we were somewhat seasoned, because we did speak to reporters in the past. And
Well, technically 3. We started with Vice,
Vice.
which is now bankrupt, by the way.
Yeah. It's just, yeah.
Media is in a desperate position to get attention,
Yeah.
because they're
In a decline.
in a
And
sunset.
I read several articles that talked about how mainstream media is in a deep decline.
We felt it.
Financially. Yeah, like it's really, really hard to get a job as a journalist. Especially if you're younger, like it's even harder unless you're willing to write the smut, because there's a new media that's arising, and it's podcasts, and it's social media, and it's YouTube, and it's anyone around the world with a camera and a video camera can like get online and like share themselves and get a following from it. And I think that can be really difficult and challenging for someone who went to school for journalism, and especially if they say went to a prestigious school and did everything right, and then all of a sudden some youngsters from the internet are essentially doing a similar thing and having success. But hey, like, that's the way of the world. It's in constant change and in constant flux. And one thing that Jeff and I had learned over the course of our life so far is that the world is always changing, and that in order to stay with the times, you need to evolve with the times. And yeah, I mean, that's a key strategy in just survival and thrival, you know.
Cool. So where do you want to take this?
Well, we were talking about, um, like the perception of the media on us and why was manufactured the way it was, but also leading into how it all began.
Well, it started, the media part started with this accusatory narrative from Vice. Is that where you want to start, or you want to start with Twin Flame Ascension
You can
School?
start wherever you want to start.
I don't really want to talk about the media. Like, that's not the actual core thing.
No.
I wanted to address the media as so that you, our viewer, understands our perspective on what we went through.
Mm-hmm.
Our perspective is that the media is not a truth-telling machine. And so everything that it says is, you have to wonder if it's doing it for profit. And I'm telling you, this was pure profit. This was a cash grab, exploitation, and suppression of the truth so that they could get their money out of the situation and move on. And some of them did. They got invited to the Emmys for the docudrama exploitation.
It even
they did.
got a nomination. Was it an Oscar nomination for
Emmy nomination.
Emmy
yeah.
nomination?
And it got some other award for a great editing, and we didn't disagree. You guys
did a great editing.
You did a great job.
You really made
to
characters
edit the
out of
truth
us.
Out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even recognize myself. I didn't recognize him at all. I'm like, wow,
anyway.
good job editing.
So when that level of scrutiny comes on to you, we're not here just dismissing it like, oh, yeah, let's just move on, guys. We took it all very seriously. Personally, we didn't watch the Netflix or Amazon docudramas. We didn't want to watch ourselves get, abused for hours.
No.
But also, it was just begging for attention. And it was a moral victory for us to say, I'm not even going to watch that.
Yeah.
Many of our students did watch them. And
we got a synopsis.
We put together a team of, we have many PhDs and master's level educators, people from Ivy League universities. We put together our smartest, most educated people. And we said, hey, let's do a thorough investigation and evaluation of all of the accusations and allegations, because
we took it seriously, you guys. Like, we really did, these accusations. We're like, if we are out of order, if we made a mistake, we need to repair. Mm-hmm. Like, we need to course correct, because it's not okay.
But that's not what the media is interested in doing. They're not bringing up hurts for healing. They're bringing up and creating hurts and expanding hurts for attention. Mm-hmm. And that is extremely harmful to society, not just by the people and communities they exploit directly, but because of the false storytelling that they extend out into society, because you don't know what the truth is.
How do you know?
How do you know what the truth is on anything? Because you can't trust the one telling you the story.
Which reminds me of an article I read about the U.S. government, their new stance towards Chinese, communist government is to distrust them in anything they say, distrust them, and then verify, rather than trust what they say and verify it. And that's what I learned with our experience too with the media is I can't actually trust what they say.
You should not trust them.
And in a way, I feel like it's become quite dystopic, because I feel like in many ways I don't know what's actually going on in the world.
It's kind of strange
because it's done through this filter that I can't actually.
I just want to say I don't even think they know what's going on in the world.
Do they know?
They take this frame and, honestly, I really liked all the people most of the people I interacted with from the media. It's not like the media is full of just horrible people doing horrible things.
Right.
It's a systemic issue. I genuinely
it's in the system.
And still have kind feelings about many of the people that I encountered through this. Some I definitely don't. But what was I saying? It was just like
distrust and verify.
Yeah. Well, I lost that. I don't know. I was just thinking about the warm feelings that I had for some of these people. I genuinely liked them.
Yeah.
Some I didn't get
But
close
there's
enough
a
to know.
systemic issue.
Right, they're not bad people.
They serve
necessarily.
a system that is not what we believe is for the collective human welfare.
Oh, right. And like they're under enormous pressure to earn a profit, and truth
Right.
is not all that important. And maintaining a reputation in a dying sunset industry is not as important as making money now to survive.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is they take this position of enormous authority over society and say, we see everything. We are the
have
media.
truth. Yeah.
I have cameras and eyes everywhere, and you don't. You are in the ground, you small being, you peasant. And I will tell you what's going on, and you must trust me because of my position and authority in society. And while that may have been true, at least in part, in previous eras, it's no longer true, I believe.
Yeah.
They don't know any better than you because they also have the internet just like you, and that's all they're using. And when they go and talk to people, they're not asking for the truth. They're just extracting a narrative. They don't know more than you.
And what I found very interesting, and this relates exactly to what you're saying, is I read an article based off of the Netflix crew that did the documentary on us. Because I'm like, how did you do it? The docudrama. Like, how did you do it? And I found out exactly how they did it. They got access to our classes from a defaulter, and who, by the way, illegally stole thousands of hours of content and private meetings, which are not for the world.
And she was under NDA, by the way.
Imagine you're having like an intense family meeting and someone records it and puts it on the internet, and then everyone judges you, and they're like, "This is what you are.
They frame you to be
You're a shitty
bad.
Mom. You're a shitty dad."
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's exactly what I felt. Anyway, so this is how they got the content that they did. They used AI with keywords. And the AI scrubbed through all of our content with these keywords, and then they took those clips and they made a video about us. And I was like, oh my God, you never watched a single class. You have no idea about our relationship with these people. You have no idea about the teachings. You probably never read our book. You have no idea who we are. You're just going based off of what these former students and family members decided to say about us, and took our words and misinterpreted it. And by the way, how easy is it to sell a cult leader to a spiritual group of people, and Jeff and I as spiritual leaders and spiritual founders. That means like you can look at every person who is a founder of a spiritual group or spiritual movement in America or the world today and be like, you're a cult leader. Do you know how easy it is to like just paint that on top of someone who's doing what we're doing? Like, come on, it's not even creative.
Yeah.
You didn't even try.
This was cheap.
It's really cheap. And then you framed us like, oh, look at what they're saying. Look at what they're doing. Which I feel like brings us to, this next piece I'd like to address, which is, our philosophy and, how and why it was misinterpreted. So the big upset in the room, this was their I gotcha moment, even though there was no there, was about our stance on gender and sexuality within our spiritual community, and within the twin flame community at large. Actually, it isn't just us that has this belief. It's that a twin flame union, contains a masculine and a feminine soul within it. And that's what charges the attraction in the union. And that's from our experience and from our own spiritual explorations That's what we have defined and experienced as the truth of reality, because that's the only way we want to live. Is what is the truth? What is spiritual reality? What is a spiritual truth? We don't, Jeff and I, although we're physical, we don't live in the physical world. We live in the spiritual world. And to us, like, that's the foundational basis of our reality. And so when I took my own spiritual journey, it was a very logical question and conclusion that I arrived at, which is, am I attracted to men or women? And really, what I knew when I was saying that question, this was like back in my early 20s, am I attracted to a masculine energy or a feminine energy? Because I was very clear in myself. I'm a feminine energy. There's nothing in me that feels like penis or is penis and that masculine energy. Like, I remember like trying it on, like just pretending I was a man and being manly and wearing like just, yeah, like wearing a costume. It was like a Halloween costume. It was Halloween. I was Luke Skywalker or something. And I just remember feeling like, I'm not a guy. Just, no, I'm not a guy. I'm definitely a woman. I feel women in every way. And so that was like my spiritual journey. And I did, like when I was in college, I experimented with a couple women who were more on the masculine edge, and I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it there. And I was like, I don't think it's so much that this isn't my person, but I also think like this is not what I'm actually attracted to. I'm attracted to a man in a male body.
So one of the fundamentals of attracting your ultimate lover is understanding what your polarity is. Am I masculine or feminine?
Yeah.
And am I attracted to the masculine or the feminine? And the twin flame teaching, as far as we've understood so far, this is the cutting edge of our spirituality, is if you want your twin flame, they are the opposite polarity of you, masculine and feminine.
If you are on the twin flame journey.
And your body is not necessarily an indicator of masculine or feminine.
Exactly.
It's a spiritual journey you need to take within. And listen, that's hard.
Yeah.
Period. Right? That one piece alone is not easy. And we ask you to, if you've seen the docudramas, if you've been part of the drama, we ask you to have compassion for the former students and I guess the family members or whoever else was involved. Have compassion for them, because not only is this work difficult that we do, being in proximity to the people who are doing this work is also extremely difficult, because you didn't decide to do this work. Someone close to you did. And when you do this spiritual work that we call the teachings of union, the twin flame ascension journey, you're going to change real fast. You're going to transform. And that is what I feel the real root of all of this is. All this drama, if you take away the media, if you take away the sensationalism, it comes down to a disagreement between us and a few former students and a few former family members, or family members of students or former students.
Yeah.
And that disagreement is real. We do not dispute that disagreement. It's okay to have disagreements. And we're not saying all you people who disagree with us, which once again, it's just a small handful. The media wants you to believe it's this huge amount of people and it's this, hemorrhaging cult that's falling apart. It's so silly.
One of the first things that I said in our original call to the reporter for the Canadian documentary was like, this is not what the majority of people experience. This is not even what the minority of people experience. This is a fringe group of people that have a beef with us and have gone to the media and had it exploited and exploded all over the world. And it was just like completely ignored other people's experience. And like you can just go on our website and you can read, like we have a testimonial page. It's like you're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling.
It's hundreds.
And they're all authentic. Like,
and they're extraordinarily positive.
Yep, we got a unions
But
page.
here's the caveat. It's really hard. Okay? Like,
This is an essential
this is
journey.
not a too good to be true thing.
No.
This is a group of people who put in a lot of really hard work together and got exceptional results as a result.
Mm-hmm.
The timing in which you get results and the level of result you get, no guarantees. No one can tell you what's going to happen next on your spiritual journey. No one can tell you just how much or how long it's going to take. But I can tell you this, it's really, really hard.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing you can do in life is look within yourself and feel everything and be okay with what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And as an aside, throughout all of this, we have worked hard to be our best example of the teachings of union in the spotlight here. Under pressure, enormous global pressure to fold or collapse, they're trying to throw us in jail. They're trying to take our baby away. Like, this was no small deal.
Oh yeah, we had people constantly driving by our home and
Stop
our
in
private
front of our house,
neighborhood.
take pictures,
Someone
drive
came
up our
my
driveway.
Reporters coming to my front stoop.
Really like vile, degenerate level behavior.
Yeah.
For years of this.
Oh yeah, just really awful.
Our aim was just to be the best example of this that we could be. Just to humbly sit with the feelings that we were having and experiencing, love ourselves there, like our teaching with the mirror exercise teaches, and move through it. And I got to say that this was a wonderful opportunity for us to not only apply our spiritual teaching, but to test it in really hot fires and to see if it worked out for us and our students.
See if see how good it is.
Yeah, I want to know. I've based my life on it, so.
Oh yeah, we're like scientists, in the lab. Like,
exactly.
Okay, can we continue to better our lives on this teaching? Because it's not just impacting and influencing us; it's impacting and influencing other people.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to make sure that that it's doing good work, positive work in people's lives.
We do take enormous responsibility for our teaching and our conduct and our community and its conduct, and we do our very best to ensure that it's a healthy community. Mm-hmm. It's a bummer that some people say that they had a not so positive experience. We'll get into that. Mm-hmm. But as we were saying before, like, we got our smartest people to go through every allegation. We took it very seriously, and we couldn't find any truth to any of it.
No.
So people asked us, how come you didn't say you're sorry? Do you feel responsible for their hurts? We don't feel responsible for the feelings and choices of others, and neither should you.
Yeah.
You're responsible for your own feelings and your own choices. We do feel responsible for our conduct and our community and teaching, and to the best of anyone's knowledge, after we scrutinized every detail, we've done a phenomenal job of serving and loving and caring for every single student who has passed through our doors to the best of our ability.
The former students that were upset about, us inviting them to, look at their gender or sexuality, I mean, no one was forced to change their gender. No one's ever been forced to change their gender.
No one's been forced to do anything.
And it's literally written in our book. We have a chapter in our book on the gender thing, and you can read exactly how we think and feel about it. And no one's ever been forced into it. And at that point of time in our teaching, we were working directly with students at the time. We were forming Twin Flame Ascension School. We were in the middle of it. We were people's guide. Like, this was the relationship. This was the contractual relationship that you got into. you wanted us to help you with your twin flame journey and your ascension journey. And we agreed. We were like, okay, well, you're here, you paid, you say you want this, so okay, like, let's go. This is what it is. And so when we invited people to look into their gender and to look into their sexuality and to feel what's there, feel what is the truth, to heal any upsets that arrive, and come to your own conclusion. That was what you wanted from us, and that is what we decided to do for you. And there were many people that we invited to look into what their polarity was, and they have never been happier. Like, just absolutely happy and thriving. And they all say that, like, yeah, it was always there before we were even inviting them to look at their polarity. Like, they knew. They're like, yeah, it was always kind of there. And so then if they wanted to continue exploring that further and changing themselves, hey, that was on them. That was not on us at all. We were just there to help you attract your twin flame to you and have achieve harmonious twin flame union.
And that's done through self-awareness.
It's done through self-awareness.
And self-love.
Yeah. And, like, honestly, I don't have any problems if anyone identifies as a lesbian or gay or non-binary. Like, honey, you do you. Like, don't even care what I think and feel. Like, I live by my own choices and my own feelings, and, like, you should too. You're not, like, beholden to anyone but yourself. And so, I felt that was very unfair of the former students to say that, because that was so far stretched from the truth.
It's just a narrative the media could cling to and spout and get attention,
right?
And cause upset,
to frame us further.
Why us? I was thinking about that this morning in preparation for this, and you got to ask yourself, like, why Twin Flames Universe? Why were they like the next swing after Nexium got taken down?
Gosh, yeah.
Because our society was thirsty for cult stories, and Nexium documentaries came out, and everyone was in an uproar.
And true crime podcasts were popping up everywhere. And
and
then TV shows based on these crime podcasts, true crime podcasts.
Huge sensational wave, pandemic, right? Like, why Jeff and Shaleia and Twin Flames Universe? And I think I've got a few reasons. First of all, like, Twin Flames was an up and coming, a cultural thing. It wasn't in the lexicon before all this went big. It was getting there.
Yeah.
And we were one of the bigger Twin Flame, brands out there at the time when this started to get picked up. We felt strongly that we were the only ones doing the real spiritual work. There were others doing real spiritual work. We felt we were the only ones producing the real result of harmonious twin flame union. And we found it was really important to us, like, morally, that other people know about this idea. Like, hey, like, I have the most extraordinary love in my life, and I know how to get it. And we wanted to help other people get it too.
We felt it was our dharma, like you said, our moral responsibility to share it with the world if the world was coming to our doorstep. And so that was one of the main motivations for us in engaging with the media, was because we felt that there was just genuine interest in the concept of twin flames. And for us, we have always felt that it was the natural evolutionary step in relationships. I remember when we were in our 20s, there was this trend of conscious relationships.
Yep.
And I remember thinking, like, yeah, we're moving away from soulmate relationships. Like, those are great, but they're not eternal. We're not actually designed to be romantic with soulmates. But, like, conscious relationships in my mind was really twin flames. And then when I discovered the realm and the concept of twin flames and the word itself, I was like, oh, that's what I'm looking for. Yep, that's it. That's the thing. And that makes total and complete sense. I grew up as a Catholic, and we were taught about Adam and Eve and how, God created a wife for every man and a husband for every woman, And I just felt like, I am created with somebody. Like, I felt it so true in my soul, just this deep resonance of, like, I am created as a twin flame with one other person here, like, to be romantic with and to go ever deeper in divine love with forever and ever and ever. And this is a spiritual path that brings me ever closer to the divine Godhead. Like, God's design is perfect. Of course God would create a perfect romantic partner for you so that you could go deeper in your relationship with God. It just makes sense. And so, in all of my research and my feelings just verified it. And you can find this as far back as not just, Christianity, but it's also in Islam, in the Quran. It's also even further back in history in Indian spirituality. They have so many their whole pantheon is like twin flames. This concept is very popular in India, and I think
Ancient Greece too.
Yes, ancient Greece. It goes back to there as well with was it Socrates talking about this, or is it Plato? Like, this isn't like a new concept. It's always been there, folks. So when people say, no, you don't have a twin flame, I just laugh. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess earlier humans were wrong. Like, they weren't all wrong. Like, there's a reason why certain concepts and technologies continue to be passed forward into generations, because there's truth to them. So, were you done talking about this part?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So we met each other. We found this thing, twin flames, and it was the most incredible thing. Like, I was looking for it and I found it. Yeah. And the next step was, I can't keep this to myself, so I need to share it with others. And so we went about doing that. And this is how we started our career together. And, the reporter from CTV asked me, like, what's your motivation behind everything? And this is my motivation, is I got something beautiful and I wanted to share it with others. And off we went with, we started with Awakened Intimacy, and then it evolved into Twin Flames Universe. And as we were really picking up steam and growing, it was growing culturally. Like, Paris Hilton met her twin flame and got married to him on 11/11.
Yeah.
And named her media company 11/11 Media, that she's going to pass on as a legacy to her children.
And her daughter was born on November 11th.
Oh, that's wild.
11/11. Like, hello.
Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox say they're twin flames. Nora Jones, I think, made a song called Flame Twin. Like this was early on. It was starting to get big, and then Vanity Fair reached out to us after the Vice thing. And so, like, we're kind of contextualizing, like, why us? Like, Twin Flames was getting big in the culture.
There was a cultural moment. Yeah, there was a cultural moment
and
happening.
We were at the forefront of it. And
the Vanity Fair magazine that came out before our spread showed a twin flame couple that, that they recognized each other as twin flames. It was Shaman Dirk and was it Princess Margaret of Denmark or something? A princess. Sorry, I forgot
it's called
her
The
name.
Princess and the Shaman, the article.
Princess and the Shaman, yeah.
And it seemed like they kind of wanted to mint those two as the twin flame leader, because they were much more Hollywood friendly and connected. And they wanted to shun us as the bad twin flame couple. Media plays its little puppeteering games, but it doesn't really matter. It's not really relevant. The point is, like, also in that moment, like, we fully engaged with the press. Like, we were, like, giving everything we could to support this Vanity Fair article and to spark it and to give it flight. We
Yeah.
poured ourselves for a
We
year
did.
into it.
Oh my gosh.
And it was,
While moving and
unbelievably disappointing when what happened,
yeah.
what came out did. It was just a joke.
Oh my god.
We poured our love into that to bring this into the world. And, you know, off it went.
Off it went. Yeah, podcasts came from it.
We didn't engage in
Docudramas.
any of the media after that
No.
until CTV,
Right.
because we learned that the media doesn't do anything for you.
They don't care. They're gonna do what they want to do. They're gonna write their little story, and you're just a character in their story, and you give up your story. And that was the last thing I ever said to Alice Hines, who wrote the Vanity Fair magazine, is like, nobody has the right to share my story but me. And I reclaim my story. And this is my story. And this is my truth. And I'm going to share it. And this is what happened to me.
This is us reclaiming that.
Oh, exactly.
So, big cultural, bubble with Twin Flames. And then we were driving to the forefront. We're also, like Shaleia was saying, easy to misinterpret. We have a ton of content.
Yeah.
And there were a few people from our community creating drama, and as they left, didn't want to leave respectfully, had big upsets. Okay. All of that was just primer, though, for the real thing, which was cults and true crime and the pandemic, which got everyone upset and afraid and angry, and also
needing their content.
Another
too.
element of fear of religions, and like just this huge cultural apex came together, and we were just the easy pickings off the top, eager and willing to engage.
Yeah.
And they gobbled it up, and off it went for 5 years.
Off it went, yeah.
So we think they've kind of gotten sick of the story. People kind of get this is boring.
Yeah.
Jeff and Shaleia and Twin Flames Universe are not engaging in a way that we want them to.
Ever since
They didn't go down.
Ever since Pluto went into Aquarius, things have changed for the better.
Cool. Yeah, astrology.
Yeah.
Throughout all of this insane pressure, we grew. Not because of it,
It's true though.
but despite it.
It's funny because like they're circulating around the media after the Netflix docudrama that like we weren't doing well and we were losing revenue, losing members. But I'll be honest, it wasn't true. We only lost a very small handful of people who were on the fence anyway during the Netflix docudrama. And to be honest, not once did our revenue drop throughout all this. Actually, it just increased because of all the attention we're getting. I guess it's true. Bad press, good press. Any press is good press. Apparently, it doesn't mean that we liked it. That's not what we liked. That's not what we wanted. Not what we preferred. But like, it is what it is. And we were under enormous pressure and stress the entire time. And we did have to adjust ourselves, and that was really hard because we really do like being out there. We like talking. We like sharing ourselves with you guys, but the environment wasn't conducive for us to do that. So
we're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere.
We're not going to stop sharing the Twin Flame teaching with the world.
No.
Just because the world got upset or it got really, 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 really hard.
Yeah, sorry.
We're still here. We're still doing it.
Still here.
Nothing has changed. We're still helping people. People are still getting into harmonious union to this day. People are still healing to this day.
And we've never done anything illegal. So, like, we're not going anywhere.
Imagine that.
And we did. We checked in with our professionals, and we said, "Is there something illegal going on? We don't think so. We pay you guys," and they're like, "Nope. All your books are straight and fair, and yep, everything is in good order. There's nothing illegal going on." And like I guess they had the detectives came in and when we lived downstate, investigated us. They didn't find anything because there's nothing going on, you guys. And if you don't like what we're saying, you can turn off your computer. You can leave a group. You can unsubscribe. Like you don't. There's no one forcing you here. You can just go.
I think that, beneath this, though, the real issue, with all that aside, right, the cultural reasons, there is a spiritual reason that us and this happened. And it's that we're touching a hurt in society.
Yeah.
And it's a very real hurt. And it's the hurt of a sense of separation from your joy, from God, from love itself.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are loudly and proudly and confidently shouting,
shining
love is real, love is real, you can
real.
have it.
It's for you too. Just listen to us. It sounds like such a good deal. That's right. That's what she said, right? But it's true. Like we have found a method that can help you attract the life of your dreams. And don't just listen to us and take it at face value. The only way to verify it yourself is to try it on. Like genuinely try it on. And then see what happens. And then see how you feel. Like, no, this isn't really working. I don't really think this is for me. Or, hey, I applied the work and wow, like blocks are clearing. Like my life is getting better. My health is improving. My relationships are improving. Oh my God, my twin flame just unblocked me. I just got a sudden windfall of cash. Like I'm not even like
happens all the time.
I'm not even making this up. Like
Yeah.
this is what literally happens as like a daily in our community for those who genuinely do the spiritual work, because the spiritual work that we share with you guys has real spiritual results. And that's what I have felt in my life. Like, and I had my spiritual mentor, and she taught me the method, and I tested it when I was with her. I went all in, and I noticed like I started feeling better. Even if nothing was happening externally, everything was changing internally. I was feeling so much better, so much more freer, so much more happier and healthier. I was reframing experiences in my life that were bringing me suffering, and that ultimately started leading me to my liberation. And then I met Jeff, and I had always I had been seeking my twin flame. I'd been looking for him. I had been wondering. I'd been praying to God and asking God. I've been doing my prayers and my little sacred rituals. And then one day he just showed up so casually on Facebook, and I was like, oh my God, it's always been you. You've been on my Facebook for like a year, and it was just so peaceful. It was not what I expected at all. And which is another common trait I find on the twin flame journey. Your twin flame may not always be what you expect. They could be right in front of you and you have like no idea. But this is why we do the inner work, is to heal those blocks so that we can see ourselves and love ourselves there. Therefore, see our twin flame and choose and love our twin flame. So I want to move on to kind of, maybe for me, it feels like the final question or issue that was brought up in all the docudramas and in a lot of comments from people who were...
I mean, I've got a lot of content still.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's fine.
Yeah.
But another big upset that came up and concern was about our wealth and how we make money, and that we make a lot of money, and that we're shoving our luxury goods and our luxurious lifestyle down your throat, which I didn't resonate with that. Scrolling through my Instagram, it's mostly just my family and out in nature, with a couple pictures of here's our new car that we got. I had one picture of my Chanel purse, which was special because it was the very last design that Karl Lagerfeld did, and that got in there. And I'm in the docudrama, and I'm okay, that was one post, but whatever. So I want to talk about that because that seems like the frame is that we exploit people and we're extracting money from them. What do you think about that?
I think it's absurd.
Mm-hmm.
And it couldn't be further from the truth. I think that it is sensationalism, and it's designed to make you upset at us and make you not listen to us. And it's part of the cover-up. Is you're so upset at Jeff and Shaleia that you won't listen to a word that they say. And if you don't listen to what they say, we can keep going on about our money-grabbing grift. And it's funny that they project all this onto us while it's what they're doing, first
I
of all.
know. I thought the same thing. Like, yo, you're just grifting off of us.
But let's talk about how our finances are structured. And I'm not holding back here, guys. Like,
Can you, like, move a little closer to me?
yeah, hey,
Move closer to Mama.
I like you.
I like you, too. All right, go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to tell you. So let's first talk about the essence of money. What is money? This is our teaching, right? Where does it come from? The essence of money is value. Is I value this. And I can, money is an exchange medium for value. So like, I have this watch. It's not that expensive. I don't know what not expensive for you is, but it's a $500 watch. And it took all these people, all this effort to make this watch, and materials and marketing and business systems, and they price it. And I was willing to pay $500 for the watch because I valued it at that level of exchange medium. And that money goes to the watch creator, right? Because I valued it. He or she created this watch and therefore created value, which I paid money for, and that becomes wealth, right? So they created value and I paid money for it. And I got that money by doing the same thing, by creating value for others, right? If you look at a bank, something called fractional reserve banking, they're not actually like handing you money from someone else's savings account that they loan out. What they're doing is they'll loan you money, they create it out of thin air, and they just put a number on their balance sheet that says, I gave you $100,000 for a house, and I put a $100,000 promise to pay on my books, right? They didn't actually lend out money. They just wrote it on their books because of they created value in the loan. I don't really want to go into the teaching of that if you don't understand it.
Yeah.
Wealth is creating value, and our wealth comes from creating value in the lives of our students. That's the point of this. If you don't get value from what I'm offering, the simple point of it is you won't pay me. And by the way, our money doesn't primarily come through the very expensive courses that they like to say. Our money comes from coaching.
Yeah, and I just want to also say that, especially in the 21st century, so many products and services are based off of apps where you have to subscribe to an ongoing membership, like monthly or annually. Very few options to just outright buy, the app for a lifetime or the service for a lifetime. And actually, we don't operate that way. Like TFAS, you can either buy outright or you can get on like the monthly plan, and I think you pay it off within like a year.
So we offer, we'll finance it
it
for you and give you a payment plan.
Sure, you can do it in installments, but like it comes to an end.
You keep it for life.
You're not, and you keep it for life. You're not constantly paying us for subscription to watch classes.
And you don't even need to buy that stuff to get the teaching. There's free stuff that gives you the whole teaching. There's really inexpensive stuff that gives you the teaching. So it's not even from our products that our real wealth comes from. Most of the wealth comes from coaching. And that's an ongoing relationship that you can stop at any time. If you aren't getting ongoing value from the coaching, you will stop. And there are other twin flame talkers that will talk to you about twin flames that you can go to that are outside of Twin Flames universe that will gladly take your money and talk about twin flames with you.
Sure.
So the only way that we have a sustainable, growing fortune is because we create real value in the lives of our clients, our students.
Yeah.
And that is an ongoing relationship. We don't actually have a huge following. It's a few hundred active people at most. And these people get tremendous value in their lives from this teaching, because value, remember, is created. And we created the systems that support the teaching. And our community is, it's an economy that many people are enjoying financial prosperity from.
Right.
And many people are enjoying benefit
So we're
from.
not an MLM.
It's not an MLM.
We're not an MLM. That's not how our structure and our business works at all. People made that up. They made a little crappy diagram about it, but
it's not.
It doesn't work. It's not how we work.
If we're an MLM, then the American Association of Dentistry, American Dental Association is set up the same way as
Right.
us, essentially, right? Like, we certify coaches and they go out and start their own practice.
Right. And, I want to talk about one of the aspects of our business that people had a big issue with. And it's about, like how we were structured between like volunteers and also our coaches. Now, I want to bring you back about 5 to 7 years ago from today. So about 2019, 2020 or something like that, when we first started what we call the AAC, the
Association of Ascension Coaches.
Yeah. So back in the early days, for quite some time actually, anyone could, we would certify you as a coach, and that was it. You never had to pay us again. You could just have clients, go out, get clients, teach based off of our teachings. And we found eventually that that was not a sustainable business model for us. That actually all the work and the sweat off of our backs was going to benefit other people and their business more than it would benefit us in our business. And that doesn't create a happy and healthy and harmonious relationship, because we were the ones to break ground here. Like, the teaching came through us and we shared it. And so it was not a good or sustainable business model.
Or relationship.
Which is one of the clips that they used in the docudrama of Jeff yelling at the students. It was actually, it wasn't even him yelling. You were just disciplining and sharing your feelings, because like, these people were, they could make pretty good money off of our backs, off of the work that we were doing, and not have to, I don't know.
Well, their businesses depended on us just the same.
Just the same. It was an ecosystem.
If we wanted to serve these people, our coaches, and we needed to have a healthy relationship to be able to continue the direction we were going.
Exactly.
And so the media clipped some, intense part of a passionate, intimate financial relationship that we're having together. It's like a family inside Twin Flames Universe. It's real, it's honest, it's passionate, there are real feelings, and you're allowed to express your feelings and have dialogue and work through them. And the point isn't that we do or do not have intense feelings. The point is that we work through them together, we heal, we come out on the other side, and we feel better. And we just got, our dream car, a Ferrari, 458 Spider. It's the last naturally aspirated V8 Ferrari they ever made. Super sweet. You can see it on our gram right now. And it's an indicator of the ongoing success of our community, and a testament to the power of our teachings, and a reminder to our students and our coaches that this isn't going anywhere, and that there is success for everyone here, and we're not the only ones making money. And we're making money not like the media does by exploiting other people.
We're helping people, and we're loving people.
And if you look at our testimonials, that is the vast majority of our students' experiences. And I want to get back to this relationship between our students and the disagreement, with the former students. And they just had an upset they didn't want to work through. And if you think, well, what did all this hold on now. It's a simple statement.
Yeah.
But remember, this work is hard.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, you can't. The appropriate response is not to be upset at hurt people. And these people might want to say that we're the cause of their hurt because it probably really feels that way.
I understand, yeah.
Because the nature of this teaching, thanks for listening. We're finally getting to the core of it.
We're getting to the core of it.
The nature of this teaching is very simple. Your mind works like an onion. Layers, right? Like an ogre. Thanks, Shrek. Onions have layers.
Oh.
Your mind has layers. And you can really only easily access the topmost layer in the healing process. And you peel that layer off through self-awareness and self-love. And we'll teach that. We teach that in our community. When you pull up that layer, there's a new layer beneath it. And what you see there, you really might not like. Oftentimes you don't. And there are some things that you really gonna like. As you're uncovering your divine self, beautiful light shines through you. And this really uncomfortable darkness comes up. This is metaphorical in terms of dialogue. This is visceral in real lived experience. There is nothing like spiritual work. There is nothing more intense, more powerful, more difficult, or more rewarding than inner work.
It's not for the faint of heart.
No.
The spiritual path.
I have enormous respect for anyone who endeavors to do even a little spiritual work. And this is why we didn't go out and say nasty things about the former students. We didn't go out and throw receipts or try to make them wrong. Because at the end of the day, we still have respect for those people because of what they chose to endeavor into. And we know how hard it was and how hard it is. And it's totally okay that they didn't want to continue. And we also have enormous respect for individual sovereignty and freedom of choice, which hilariously, media tried to say the opposite. Most of what they said about us was literally the opposite of reality. We have enormous respect for autonomy and sovereignty and freedom of choice.
Mm-hmm.
So as you go through this work and you uncover these uncomfortable parts of your consciousness, of your psyche, of your emotional body, it comes up to the surface to be healed and released. And as Twin Flame Spiritual Guru, we were helping students do that on an individual basis at the pace they were asking. And guess what? This was new, not just to us, but to literally planet Earth. No one else was doing what we were doing ever. This was experimental and exploratory, and it wasn't a Jeff and Shaleia do as we say, as the media likes to portray it.
Yeah, I know.
This was a collaborative endeavor that we as a community endeavored to together. Always was, still is, always will be. Collaboration. Hey, this is what I feel. This is what you feel. This is what we agreed to. This is the relationship that's working. Let's keep going. And we check in all the way along. Hey, is this still working for you? There's a wide open door that says, if this isn't working, if there's a real problem or grievance here, let's discuss it. And some of the former students who left did bring their grievances forth. But it was never the community is doing something wrong thing, or Jeff and Shaleia, there's something wrong here. The conclusion we repeatedly came to was, hey, this is just your inner work. Why not try doing that instead? And very often the response was, okay, but the reality was, I don't really want to do my inner work. I don't really want to do this anymore. I don't like going in my own consciousness. I really, really like the community, and the love and the attention and the prosperity,
Friendships,
the
yeah.
wealth that I get, the respect, the authority, everything that comes part of being intimately involved with Twin Flames universe feels good. But often they didn't want to do the thing that produced the result. And so naturally they would leave. But another thing is that can be really hard to leave behind.
Yeah. It's like leaving family behind, which is another thing we'll quickly get into later.
We will, because it's really sweet.
It's really
inside
sweet
the walls of Twin Flames universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I say walls because there is a boundary, and you have to earn trust to get closer, just like you would in any community. That's a normal, healthy relationship. And that's ingrained into the culture of our community, the teaching itself that gets you into harmonious union. Totally get it. New cutting edge spirituality, new cutting edge consciousness around community, new cutting edge consciousness around culture. Everything we're doing is super cutting edge. Even the
Yeah.
way that we structure financially is really unusual and cutting edge and pushing the envelope. And honestly, that's where we like to be, is on the cutting edge. That's where we feel most comfortable,
We
most
like
happy.
to be in the future, you know.
That's where we live.
I don't really feel like we're from these times. I feel like we're from the future, but you know, and we're here and we're bringing the future
The distant
with
future,
us.
the
You know?
year 2000. The distant future. You hear that song from
yeah, because like most people,
Flight of the Conchords?
most people in the world, they aren't living in the same way that we are.
No.
They're not with their twin flame, or they're not doing this as a spiritual ascension path. Like they're on a soulmate journey. They're on a different path. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it's just different.
Not ready for their ascension
Not
journey.
ready, and like that's okay. But like I'm here for the people that do want it, and I'm here for the people for like, you know, the 25th century.
So to kind
that will
of
get this.
lay this final piece to rest here, ultimately, like, we want for you to do what you want.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And we want for us to do what we want, so long as there's no harm going on.
Mm-hmm.
And there's never been any harm proven by anyone. Just stories taken out of context, manipulated for profit,
Right.
and fed to you as a sensational lie to get your attention.
Right.
At the expense of the truth.
Yeah.
And for those of you who want drama, I promised you weren't going to get any
You're
here.
not gonna get it here.
If you were looking for drama, you might as well walk away. Sorry, it's not here.
I'm sure they would have walked away like an hour ago.
I think that the most sensational and compelling story here is the truth. I think the truth is always the most compelling story.
So juicy.
By far.
I know.
And that's what we pitched to the media in totality with our whole hearts twice, with Vanity Fair and CTV, and that they threw away completely. So here we are telling our own story in our own way. Hope you're enjoying it. You can leave if you want to. Yeah. So I feel pretty good about addressing the former student thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel pretty good about addressing our finances. Like, we create value for people, they will like it, and so they pay us for it, and they don't have to if they don't want to.
It's basic economics.
And there's free stuff, there's cheap stuff, and there's premium stuff that's super valuable. That, you know, I actually got a statistic from Twin Flame Ascension School is, you know, people who are watching TFAS actively last week watched on average 4.5 hours per person per week.
Cool.
Right? And this is something you get for life once it's paid for. Not even Netflix do you do that. So, and people tell me, my students who have harmonious union years, 5-6 years later after they bought TFAS, got everything, still watch it. Still super valuable. It's mind-blowing how valuable this stuff is.
Yeah.
And we charge very low for what the reality of what you get is, and everyone says that who gets it.
Yeah.
So finance is good. former students good?
Especially like when you meet your twin flame and shit starts getting real, then you're like
Oh, yes.
really grateful that you have TFAS
Oh,
and or an ascension coach as well,
And a relationship with the community.
and a relationship with
Which
the
is free, by the
community.
way. You don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So
you feel good.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like mentally
Yeah.
cataloging here. Like, why us? Good. What is our position on the media, having been dragged through it for 5 years? I think you're pretty clear on that. I wanted to address the former family member thing.
Yeah. Let's do
We
that
kind of
briefly.
touched on it. Did you want to lead here, or did you want me to lead?
Well, I just feel like, for one, I just want to say I have compassion for these, family members, and I'm not just saying it. It's not a cop out. It's how I genuinely feel.
Mm-hmm.
I understand I'm estranged from my family,
Yeah, me too.
and so is Jeff, and it's
Super
it
difficult.
was an extremely painful experience. It was not one I ever thought I'd go through or ever wanted to go through. But it did happen mostly because we had a clear clash in our value system. And I no longer fit within my former family system. And it was no longer compassionate for me to be in that family and for my family members to be around me. And they will agree with that, actually. They are glad that I'm not in the family anymore. I caused them a lot of pain and suffering because I was awakening into my spiritual journey, and they didn't understand it. They didn't agree with it. They didn't like who I was changing and who I was becoming into, and my values started to change.
They didn't want any of this for themselves.
They didn't want it for themselves, and it's
It's okay.
It's not to say, oh, you don't. I'm not telling you what you want and what you don't want. I just want to address what I see as the elephant in the room. And so, yeah, first off, I understand your pain. I'm sorry for it. But secondly, we have never, ever in our life told someone in our community that they need to leave their family. That is a very personal and that's a very private decision. That is not something that we ever take lightly when a community member writes a post about it and says
Super rare, by the way.
Super rare, by the way. It almost never happens. And so when someone does decide to leave,
Usually the story is we feel so much closer to our family.
And not only that, we've saved families, by the way. There were some members that were like, I'm so mad at my mom, I'm never going to talk to her again, or my dad, like, I'm leaving my family. And we're like, whoa.
Don't want to do that.
Let's just think about it. Is there love there? Or is this just an upset? Can you work through this with your family? Or is this really completely, like, is this a reconcilable relationship? And is there abuse?
Furthermore, we're just two people on the internet. So, like, you're not going to leave your family over us.
Right.
And even if you do, you can always just go back to them. Like,
I know.
Sorry,
right?
I was mean. Let's repair it.
Sorry.
Okay, you're my son. I'm happy to repair it.
Exactly.
This has nothing. These grievances. So, first of all, the grievances that you have with your family members have nothing to do with us. And I'm talking to literally everyone.
Yep.
Your grievances and your relationships in your life have everything to do with you in your relationships. You are in complete control over your choices. No one else is. And it's insane to think otherwise. So while we have enormous compassion for the situation, we're not your problem. You're your own problem. And if you prefer to blame it on someone, I'm sure the Netflix, character they created using me and my community is a really good scapegoat to place your feelings upon. Go do so at your content. Has nothing to do with me.
Right. Also, like, I don't know, like, there's a lot of support groups out there for parents who have children that are transgender or LGBTQ. You're not alone in feeling upset about a child, or really it's an adult child
They're complaining about 30, 40
I
year
know,
old
like these are
children.
literal adults. You know, this
Yeah.
isn't a minor we're talking about, which would be a totally different story. But yeah, we have nothing to do with that. But there are support groups out there for parents that have transgender, LGBTQ children, adult children, or children, and there's a lot of resources out there for you. Definitely encourage looking into them. That might be something you could be interested in. If not, hey, that's cool. But I have nothing to do with your family member.
It's between you and your
Yeah.
previous family member,
And I think
that's it.
the only real conclusion you came to is we had a relationship before, and then they come and enter into Jeff and Shaleia's world, and now they no longer have a relationship with me.
Sure. Logical conclusion to draw.
Sure, that's the thinking, right? But
You have to erase a whole piece of what, as far as I understood, they communicated to you repeatedly.
Well, I think you're not listening to your adult child, and I think you would need to start there of like, what are they actually saying if you really want to repair the relationship.
I don't think that they really want to repair
But
the relationship.
I don't think so.
That's not my sense that
It's
I got
not,
from the
but like
situation from my limited
they just want to
perspective.
blame us. Fine, whatever. But hey, to
Easy
each
to
their own. Yeah.
I feel pretty
bless.
complete on that. Is there anything else you want to say on that subject?
Oh no, we're good. Yeah.
So I don't want to dwell on this.
No.
And that's another reason we didn't like speak up. This has nothing to do with us. This has everything to do
No.
with the media and culture. Not our turn to talk. But it is becoming our turn to talk again. And we're not here to talk about cults and a drama and nonsense. What we are here to talk about is twin flames and spiritual ascension, God and unionism, and personal development, self-development. And that includes growing your wealth, which is the reason we share our wealth on the internet. Hey, I got this awesome Chanel bag. It represents me serving people with my spirituality and getting results for them with it. It's me living my purpose that God placed into my heart, and when I followed it, I became prosperous doing it, rather than me being afraid, following some formula of the system, doing everything right, and bleeding for a chance at it. It's not the way, folks. We're teaching you how to create real spiritual wealth that also attracts material wealth too. We're teaching you how to do real spiritual work. We offer real relationship, real spiritual community. You don't have to do this work alone. We're all collaborating on it together, Shaleia and I included. We just talked about, Shaleia and I discovered that we're both neurodivergent in our own way. Like, that's what I want to talk about.
That's what I want to talk about too.
I want to talk about
twin flames,
the cutting edge of our spiritual development with you, like we used to before all this drama.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to keep doing that. We haven't stopped all the way along. If you check our Instagram, we keep growing.
I'd love to talk about family too, because we're, we got a 2-year-old, and we're enmeshed in family life, and we have a lot of insights and thoughts on that. There's so much we want to share about our life, and that's what we're going to do with our podcast. Yes, this is an official podcast. We had an unofficial one in our Facebook group. That was cool. But yeah, like, this is kind of the direction that we're going in, is we're going to be doing podcasts, and we are going to be going back to our roots, going back to what we love to do, going back to what we're really good at.
Spiritual work.
And we're here to serve you and to serve your twin flame ascension journey and your healing journey. And that is what brings us so much joy. And this is the direction that we're now headed in, and we're so grateful for you for coming along with us.
We're not going to stop. That superstorm did not stop us.
No.
We only grew stronger as individuals. Our character developed.
Yeah.
Our community, culture developed.
It was an interesting arc in our story.
Yeah. It's continuing. And I think that the next podcast we do is going to be about our origin stories.
Ooh.
Why is it that we call ourselves twin flame spiritual gurus?
Yeah.
Guru, not spiritual
happen?
teacher. That was a thing. Our Indian students brought us that title.
Well,
we didn't bestow it upon
we don't want to
ourselves.
spoil the story. Some people already know, but We'll get into
we'll get
it.
into the next podcast.
Yeah, in the
but
next one, yeah.
I just want to say, like, also, like, we're going to talk about MAP, the mind alignment process, the actual healing that we do, that we developed, pulled out of Twin Flame Ascension School, and turned into a specific process that can be applied to deep trauma healing. And we've been doing this for years, and the results are astounding. And this is part of the reason why this drama from the media, this exploitation, has been so heartbreaking, because people are literally dying from trauma every day. Families are ripped apart, and it's resolvable, like, relatively easily at scale. And we have the scientific data to prove it. And if you call us a cult and psycho cult leaders, you're going to write off any of the results we get as quackery. But Mind Alignment Process, mindalignmentprocess.org, go to if you can check it out, is the most effective trauma healing modality on the planet today. People are healing of complex PTSD and PTSD, and these are medical professionals who are. Why'd you poke me?
Nothing.
What were you trying to communicate?
No,
Okay.
nothing. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Sorry, just
I am
sensitive.
getting tired though. So
Okay,
like,
well,
we got to start wrapping it up. But I don't want.
Let me finish what I'm saying, and we'll
Okay.
wrap it up. Who healed their PTSD and their trauma? Huge success. 90+% of people completely heal their trauma through the mind alignment process. And this is just one of the things that have been suppressed by this media sickening junk. So the wife says it's time to wrap up.
Yeah.
I guess it's time to wrap up. Thank you so
guys.
much for joining us. The comment section is open for those of you who want constructive things to say. I'm sure that we'll get some trolls, and if you don't have anything constructive to say, I'm going to delete your comment. Big surprise there. And you're going to complain and say you delete comment, I'm going to delete that too.
No, we foster
Constructive comments only.
Constructive and positive and healthy, communication.
You can disagree and be
Sure.
constructive. We'll allow that.
We'll allow
If
that.
you're just there just to dump hate, we'll get rid of it. If you have sincere curiosity, questions about anything, go ahead. Comment section is open. So, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
God bless you.
God bless.
Namaste.
Namaste.
And we'll see you in the next one. All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.